TA activation, go ahead and place your fingertips 1 to 2 inches below the belly button and 1 to 2 inches inside of your ASIS. And the cue I like to give patients is to cough. And they should feel that contraction like a corset through their core. So rest your fingers here, and we're going to try to replicate that contraction. So draw your belly button in, down towards your spine without moving your back. So I don't want to see rocking like this. You're drawing your core in, and you hold for 10 seconds. And we're going to shoot for 15 repetitions of this 2 times a day.
So for the Birddog, we're trying to activate our lumbar multifidi, which is a huge stabilizer of the lumbar spine. So I like to begin by assuming quadruped position and have your patient go ahead and do a couple of cat-cows and find their midpoint to find neutral spine. And then they're going to engage their TA by drawing that belly button up and in toward the spine. And then you can begin by raising one arm up. And then the next progression would be to kick a leg back as I kick my couch. And then you can eventually put these together to progress to alternating arm and leg. And so we would try to do 5 to 10 second isometric holds of these for about 15 reps 2 times a day.
In order to perform the cat-cow exercise, the patient will start in a tabletop position on all fours, also known as quadruped. Shoulders will be over their wrist and hips will be over their knees. The patient will inhale and exhale while scooping and rounding the back. The patient will tuck the chin in and bring the pelvis back. Then the patient will bring the head and tailbone up, lowering the stomach down to the floor. In order to perform the dead bug exercise, the patient will start lying on their back. They will flatten their back onto the floor and demonstrate a posterior pelvic tilt. Arms are perpendicular to the ground. Knees and hips will be at 90. The patient will breathe in, pushing the belly out. Then the patient should exhale and suck the belly in while lowering their arm and extending their contralateral leg. They should stop before touching the ground and pause 1 to 2 seconds. Don't let the back arch and return to starting position. The core should be tight throughout the entire exercise. One way to make it easier, you can just focus on lowering the arms or the legs.
So for the glute bridge exercise, you're going to begin with the patient in a hook lying position, so hips and knees flexed. Have them engage the transverse abdominis and do a posterior pelvic tilt, and then squeeze the glutes together, push through the heels, and lift up into a glute bridge. So the goal is to have a straight line from the knee to the hip to the shoulder. And you can have the patient hold the bridge position for 5 to 10 seconds and slowly lower down. And this can be repeated 15 to 20 times or until failure, twice a day.
Pallof press. First, you're going to get into a posterior pelvic tilt by activating the core and the glutes. Once you get into the posterior pelvic tilt, you're going to step out. Once you get to the end of the resistance, you will press the band forward, maintaining your posterior pelvic tilt the entire time. Then you will return back to the starting point. You will repeat this exercise as many times as you were instructed. Posterior pelvic tilt. You will perform a posterior pelvic tilt by closing down the space under your spine or back. In doing so, you will activate your core and posteriorly rotate your pelvis. You will maintain this for a couple of seconds before returning to a more relaxed position. You will then repeat this process for as many reps and sets as instructed. I have exaggerated these movements for purpose of demonstration.